What's up, family? The recent debt ceiling bill continues to cause havoc for millions of Americans, but it might actually turn into something positive if things work out. Yes, it could actually turn into Americans receiving a fourth stimulus check. Also, Republicans continue to try and reverse President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, in which the president just vetoed that measure once again. Now, President Biden says that he will continue to fight for hardworking folks in this country. But anyways, guys, hey, I have the details to share with you in just a moment. But first, if this type of content interests you today, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit the like button, as it really helps out us grow on YouTube. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Guys, we are experiencing something that we have never seen before. New York is experiencing some air quality issues. Yes, guys, we heard from the New York mayor, Adams, in which he said that the health commissioner is warning New Yorkers to go ahead and put your mask on, as this air quality dips to the worst that we have seen since the 1960s. Well, New York City is warning people who must be outdoors to wear a high quality mask, such as an N95 mask. Now, guys, we are very familiar with this because we just experienced it during the pandemic, which pretty much lasted almost 3 years. But here we are, or at least New Yorkers are, having to wear those masks once again. And this is all because of the wildfires that is going on in Canada, in which it is pretty much blowing into the United States over the eastern side of the U.S., in which it is causing some crazy air quality issues for thousands, if not millions of people. And yes, guys, you can see various of things right here. Like you see right here, it says New Jersey is raising their air quality alert, calling it unhealthy due to the smoke from Canada. And then also, guys, you can see that New York is putting a stop to flights coming in through the LaGuardia Airport, as well as Newark Airport. And then also, guys, you can see that schools are canceling their recess because of their air quality issues. Now, guys, I know you must ask, but what is causing all of this issues that's going on right now in New York, as well as the surrounding cities and states? Well, guys, there is wildfires going on in Canada, in which, as you can see right here, guys, this is just a little video clip of what it actually looks like in New York, guys. And you can see it's pretty much gray. These are not doctored photos. This is live footage of exactly what it's looking like in New York. But anyways, guys, the air quality and smoke is coming from the Canadian fires, as you can see, that is pretty much circling over the particular area. And guys, this has been going on for about 6 weeks now, in which these massive wildfires have spread across Canada, causing mass evacuations, as well as burning through more than 3.3 million acres, if you will, of land, larger than the state of Maryland. Now, while Canada wildfire season runs from May through October, such destruction this early in the season is very, very rare. 1 month in, Canada is on track to have its worst, its most destructive wildfire season in history. But anyways, guys, it does state that last month Canada experienced its hottest day ever when Lytton, British Columbia hit 49.6 degrees Celsius, which is 121 degrees Fahrenheit, smashing the previous record of 113 degrees. And yes, guys, it is also tied to California's Death Valley as the hottest place in North America at this particular time. So anyways, guys, that is exactly what is causing the air quality issues up north in the East Coast area. So if you live in those particular areas, you definitely want to go ahead and bring out your N95 mask or other mask, or even double up. But you definitely want to stay safe during this particular time. But hopefully this will end very, very soon, guys. But moving on, guys. Hey, we want to talk about the recent veto from the president, in which we know that because of the debt ceiling bill that was signed this weekend by President Biden, we know that the Republicans were actually pushing to reverse the student loan debt relief plan that was signed and administered by the Biden administration, as well as President Biden last year. And the Republicans are definitely not happy about it, in which they put in a measure to go ahead and reverse that altogether. But President Biden, he stood up yesterday, guys, and said that, look, I'm going to veto the bill. we are not canceling the student loan debt relief. And he went on to say that, look, it is a shame for working families across the country that lawmakers continue to pursue this unprecedented attempt to deny critical relief to millions of their own constituents, according to President Biden. So yes, guys, President Biden ended up vetoing this piece of legislation that would have canceled his plan to forgive student loan debt in the amount of $20,000. Now, this particular measure, like I said, had been pushed by Republicans, but it garnered a handful of Democratic votes in the Senate as well. However, like I said, President Biden has vetoed this particular bill from reversing. So it is still on the table at this particular time. And pretty much, if it is enacted into law, Biden's plan would forgive up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt for borrowers making less than $125,000 per year. So anyways, guys, that is still on the table. President Biden stood up for what he has been pushing for all of this time. He wants to help the American people. He wants to put a little bit of money into your pocket in regards to wiping out some of your student loan debt. So anyways, guys, we'll just have to see how it all turns out. I believe that it still has to figure out what the judge wants to, whether approve of it or not. But anyways, guys, we'll just have to see how that all turns out. But let's go ahead and move this particular topic on to some stimulus checks, or in regards to the debt ceiling deal. Yes, guys, like I said, President Biden ended up signing the debt ceiling deal this weekend on Saturday evening, in which, guys, they're saying that that bill ended up canceling almost $30 billion in pandemic relief funding. And we were talking about COVID relief funding, guys. You already know that they approved previously trillions and trillions of dollars, in which some of that money has yet to be spent. And as you can see, that the deal between President Biden and congressional Republicans to lift the debt ceiling claws back billions of dollars in unspent pandemic relief funding, but it leaves money in place for frontline COVID-19 investments such as next generation vaccines as well as testing. But anyways, guys, as you can see, that COVID clawback in the debt limit deal that was signed by President Biden spurs public health fears, in which they are saying that the advocacy groups are sounding the alarm over a provision in the debt ceiling deal to claw back about $27 billion in unspent pandemic relief money, arguing that it could have consequences for future public health initiatives. Now, the unspent COVID-19 dollars have long been a target of Republicans, and taking back some of the money gives House Speaker Kevin McCarthy a political win. Now, the federal COVID-19 public health emergency ended earlier last month, and President Biden had indicated that he was open to a deal that included coronavirus funding recessions. That clawback was included in the final measure to raise the debt ceiling, which cleared the House in a bipartisan way of 314 to 117 vote on Wednesday, which headed to President Biden's for his signature. Now, the appropriators will use some of that money to spread around how they see fit, according to the director of the White House Office and Management and Budget Office, in which she said that we didn't get into individual line items in this particular bill. However, we will get closer to that once the time arises. So anyways, guys, over the course of the pandemic, Congress appropriated nearly $5 trillion to various programs, including the Department of Health and Human Services, the Small Business Administration, as well as the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Transportation Department. In which, guys, if we go to this particular website, which is called covidmoneytracker.org, we can see exactly how much money that they actually approved and how much money that they actually spent. And then we can figure out from there how much money is actually left over. And you can see right here, guys, in the orange section, you can see that they initially approved around $6 trillion, in which they only used $5.7 trillion, which leaves us to around $300 billion. So yes, guys, keep that number in the back of your head, because I'm going to show you in just a moment how this could be very beneficial to millions of Americans. But anyways, guys, $300 billion is considered as unspent COVID-19 relief funds, in which, guys, if we scroll down here, guys, we can see specifically those particular stimulus checks. If we go to this particular search right here, guys, we'll pull up exactly what I'm talking about. Now, you can see right here, it says direct payments. And then if we click on the plus sign, we can drill down to see all of the 3 stimulus checks that was provided between President Trump as well as President Biden. And guys, those particular stimulus checks was around $600, $1,200, as well as $1,400. Now, guys, if you look over here, you can see that how much money was actually used use in order to provide these specific stimulus checks. And guys, you remember that number I told you to keep in the back of your head? Well, guys, that was $300 billion. So guys, if we look at all of these, we can see that this particular number right here is closer to the $300 billion, which is considered as unspent stimulus funds. Yes, guys, if we can look at this right here, it took around $276 billion to provide the $1,200 stimulus checks that was provided on a federal level. This was the economic impact payments that everyone loved to receive, guys, because let's just face it, guys, it was pretty much just free money. And then pretty much we got hit with the high inflation right after that. So, but anyways, guys, like I said, there is $300 billion in unspent funds, which means that they have enough money to offer a fourth stimulus check. So could they actually put this on the table? Well, guys, the elections are around the corner, which means that all of the politicians, lawmakers, including the current president as well as the future president, is going to be trying to sway you for their vote, in which they might be offering a fourth stimulus check using some of the unspent COVID-19 relief funds that hasn't been spent yet. Like I just told you guys, the debt ceiling deal actually removed that money from the COVID, in which they can use this money however they choose to, in which right now, guys, as the American people continue to struggle throughout this particular recession that we are in right now, that could be more of a reason for them to use some of that money, if not all of the money, to provide another fourth stimulus check. And yes, guys, like I said, $300 billion is sitting there doing nothing. We only need $276 billion to send out $1,200 stimulus checks. But if we go a little step further, guys, we really don't need that much money, because let's say the government actually do what they should do and only allow stimulus checks to be provided to individuals that really need it the most. In fact, guys, if that actually happens, they won't even need close to $300 billion. So still, guys, there is still a lot of unspent COVID-19 relief funds that is still available. And we need to call on Congress, call on lawmakers, as well as call on President Biden to go ahead and use some of that money to offer another fourth stimulus check for millions of Americans in this country that are struggling right now because of the recent hike in interest rates, as well as the high inflation that we are still dealing with, and hoping that it comes down very, very soon. So anyways, guys, that is just another way that we can actually get to additional stimulus checks in the amount of at least $1,200. But, you know, guys, we'll just have to see how this all plays out. But the money is there, guys. They don't have to allocate or ask Congress to approve of anything else. The money is already there. So anyways, guys, keep that in your heads. Hopefully we can revisit this very, very soon. I'll keep you guys posted as usual. And then also, guys, I do want to remind you that San Diego had recently approved of $4,000 stimulus checks to be given out to its residents in its respective state. Yes, guys, we've talked about this previously, but I want to remind you, just in case you live in San Diego, you definitely want to revisit this, because you need to see when exactly they're going to be issuing this money. And yes, guys, like we said before, more than 2,000 families with financial problems will be able to receive this new stimulus check to use for whatever they need to. And yes, guys, this particular program in San Diego is called the Recovery Action Fund for Tomorrow, or better known as the RAF program, and its main objective is to alleviate the needs of families. All families who have access to the RAF stimulus check will soon be able to receive $4,000. All they have to do is to meet a few requirements. So yes, guys, this particular deadline has already passed, so you cannot apply for it at this particular time. But again, guys, some of you I know out there, because you have noted in the comment section previously that you went ahead and applied for it, and now you are just waiting to hear more back from it. So anyways, guys, like I said, this is considered as a one-time payment of $4,000, and it is intended for people with financial difficulties. So it is primarily for families in this circumstance. And guys, this is going to be a huge check. And yes, guys, the number of families that will be able to access the check will be more than 2,000 people or families. The total number will actually be 2,250 families. And the first thing that we have to do is to access this stimulus check is to meet the requirements. And yes, guys, the first of these requirements is to be below 200% of the federal poverty level. This means that the maximum benefits for a single person is $30,000 per year, and for families of 4, the maximum income is $60,000. In addition to that, guys, they must also be a San Diego resident. In this case, they do not live in San Diego. They may not receive the stimulus check for financial help. So again, guys, you definitely want to take your time to Google to find out exactly where this particular RAF program is right now. I know the deadline to apply for it has already passed by, but you definitely need to get an update on this. I cannot find anything, but if you live in San Diego, you definitely probably have more resources than I do. So anyways, guys, if you do, comment down below and let us know. But anyways, guys, I hope all this information in this video was helpful to you today. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all we have for you today. But feel free to check out some of the items down below, because there are a few ways for you to be able to earn some money, such as earning 12 free stocks with Webull after you deposit anything less than $1. Anyways, guys, those stocks could be worth up to $3,000. That is just a few, but go ahead and check out the links down below. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.